Hello, friends, benders and non-benders alike. Welcome to Braving the Elements, Nickelodeon's podcast about all things Avatarverse. I'm Janet Varney.
And I'm Dante Basco. And I know that even though we came in hot because it's Book 3 in the Fire Nation, we're going to get way hotter because we're going into somewhere very hot.
Yeah, we're going to take this whole season from a simmer to a boil.
That's right. And we're about to take a journey to a very intimidating place in the Fire Nation, a place that almost nobody can escape from. So we thought we'd have some guests join us.
Yeah, we need a little help, you know what I mean? So how about we get the writers of these episodes? The Boiling Rock Part 1, Mei Chan. The Boiling Rock Part 2, Josh Hamilton, otherwise known as Joshua Hamilton. I don't want to confuse anybody. But
I get two names.
You get two names.
I just get one.
Hi, friends.
Hello.
Hi.
Welcome to the podcast. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. We know that these episodes are fresh in your mind because it's like you wrote them yesterday, even though it's been many, many years ago.
I don't know what
No
you're
pressure.
talking about. Yesterday. It
So
just came
fresh.
out.
Yeah.
I memorized them. I have them all up here.
Yeah, okay.
Every word.
Okay.
That is such a relief. No, but we're really excited to have you guys here because there are some very iconic things that happen
moments.
in these episodes.
And these are big episodes. This is very important. These are very important episodes.
Yeah.
And it's wild that there's two writers. How does that work?
Yeah. They usually like to keep us separate. Oh, you mean here at this time?
No.
Yeah. Oh, for the Boiling
For the-
Rock
yeah.
Part
For
1.
the two
Right.
parters?
Yes.
Was it thought of as two episodes the whole time? Or was it one episode? How did that?
Well, when we wrote these yesterday, I think originally it was one episode, but as we
It's too big.
It was too big. We were working in the writer's room and, breaking out what was the first episode. We realized oh, well, we can't even get them out by the end of the first
Right.
episode without,
That's a
there would just
sign.
be so many things, so many cool things that you're missing out on. So it became 2 episodes, and Josh and I were lucky enough to write them.
Yep.
And I think we talked about this before, Josh. I know we had you on the show before. It sort of run in kind of a loose rotation where it was like, oh, you're about due for an episode on some of that, or was this? Because May, I don't think have we seen you? Was this your first official writing credit episode for the show?
Yeah, so I jumped on the show tail end of season 2 and then was on all for season 3, but this was the first one I was assigned. And it sort of, came around that I was going to get the next episode, but, I didn't know what it was. And then when we started tracing out what the season would be, it was like, you're going to get the except back then I think it was just we wanted a Zuko Sokka journey.
Yeah.
But we weren't sure what it
A
was.
Zuko
cool.
Sokka field
Yeah.
trip.
What? Everyone else went on a life-changing field trip with Zuko. Now it's my turn.
I do sort of imagine it always having been 2 pieces. So it's fun to kind of get the inside scoop that it really is a situation where you're like, huh,
Yeah.
I think maybe.
I do remember that.
We
It was
might
like
need
one.
to-
I think the rotation had come up for me because it was rotating at that point.
Yeah.
And we had been talking about where could they be captured? Where could it possibly be? And we came up with the idea Alcatraz, but with this boiling water around it.
Yeah.
Which is pretty
Yeah.
ominous.
Yeah.
I love that. And then and then we just split it. And we're like, so I think Aaron must have said let's split it into 2. And so we're like, yes, perfect.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, because the thing is, that there's so many characters that start getting introduced, and you're like, how come there's so many characters? There's
I know.
there's the gangster guy, and then there's there's the warden, and then you're like, what's going on? And then it's like there's just more people being introduced, and then Suki, what?
Yeah.
How can they all be here? This is
Yeah, did
crazy.
you, how, do you guys remember at all when that kind of came into it? Because the idea of having the sort of getaway of Zuko and Sokka makes such sense. And he really does kind of have his little
Field
he has to
trips.
endear himself to people, and sometimes one-on-one time turns out to be a little bit better for Zuko than not one-on-one
This
time.
is a few days. Just a few
yeah.
days went on. This is a lot.
Yeah,
of
a lot of
bonding.
pressure, a lot of pressure for bonding on Zuko. But bringing Suki back in, do you remember what that kind of conversation was? It's okay, again, if you don't. You already remember more than we ever expected
I
you to.
kind of remember. Yeah, a little
Wow.
bit.
Okay.
Because I remember we were breaking the episode, and we were talking about they're gonna go to this Alcatraz and they're gonna look for Sokka's dad, and well, what if they're not gonna find him? but they should find someone else instead. And we were kind of thinking about it, and then I don't remember who pitched it, but someone said, "Well, what if it's Suki? We haven't seen her in a while." And then we're like, "Well, when was the last?" It was because it had been a long time, so we kind of had to think about, well, when was the last time we saw her? We hadn't seen her since she was captured, so it would make sense that she
would
was
make
there.
perfect sense.
Yeah.
Right.
Also, it was like kind of the entire episode's about like Zuko and Sokka together, but both their relationships with women, like May, Zuko has May, who he had to break it off with. And so I think bringing Suki in
made a lot of
and then
sense.
bringing May
Great
in,
idea.
Yeah.
And then, ironically, it leads to a book later in the future, Suki alone.
Yeah.
In prison.
She's the only one there.
She's the
Foreshadow
leader of the
report.
Kyoshi warriors.
The rest of the warriors are like, we're not worried about them.
Yeah.
Just separate them from their leader.
Yeah, as long as we got the head of
Rude.
the snake, we're good.
I guess. Rude, but she is very powerful and wonderful. Speaking of powerful and wonderful, May. You have not been on the show before. Josh, you have been on the show. I'm excited to see if you remember some of the answers to the questions we asked. Guests who have
game.
recurred have been known to change some of their, sometimes, I feel like Jeremy Zuckerman has been on more than once, and I think I want to say he's changed
flip-flopped?
the type of vendor he is each time, which makes me think he's the Avatar, but
Maybe.
but yeah, so we'll see.
Okay.
We'll see
We'll
if
find
anything
out.
has changed for you. Yeah. So you came on at the end of season 2. Where did you come from? What had you been doing before you entered the Avatar verse?
So I had been trying to, make it into this little industry. And I got into the Nickelodeon writing program and, made my rounds meeting, I think, all the different shows and different showrunners. And I met with you, or you were in the meeting.
I was there with
Aaron.
Aaron.
With Aaron.
Me, yeah.
And
You didn't meet with me. I think I was a writer's
No, yeah,
assistant
you
at
were
the time.
there. It was a meeting with you. Yeah.
I was judging you the whole time.
He was like, "Let's
Pulling
see
the
what she
strings
says."
behind that. Yeah.
And I don't remember what I said, but it just seemed like kind of a good fit for their room. So once I got into the program, I think I started with you guys in the room, but sort of as just, like observing, let's see what the shows, what they're doing. And it was really intimidating because season 1 had started airing, and it got some traction. And I think you guys were you were breaking season 2. And I just remember thinking like, oh my gosh, like all these writers have been working together for a full season already. They have a shorthand, and I just kind of sat back and just, observed and I watched every episode. I read all the scripts, but I didn't have the shorthand, which was like if you pitch something and they would say, "Oh yeah, remember in episode 104 we almost did that." I'm like, I don't know what you almost.
You're never
did,
gonna.
'cause I
Yeah, you
wasn't
can't
there.
play catch up in that way. You'll never know. Yeah.
No, but it was such a great experience, and it was my first writing job, as in a writer's room, and those writers
Love it.
are fantastic, and they, I learned so much. And it's funny thinking about it now because when you say, yeah, my first job was on Avatar: The Last Airbender, back then the show had just started airing. Nobody knew what it would become. So now you get the like, what?
Yeah.
That's your first job?
How was
You're
that
like,
your first job?
yeah.
Yeah, that is
Yeah.
awesome. And you guys have continued to work together. You guys worked on, we
sure.
were just
Yeah.
talking about Voltron and
Fast
what a
and
great show that is.
Furious.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
yeah.
Years and years together.
I know. We hang
But
out.
now we're here.
Well, and we were talking. Originally we were gonna have the writer of each on each episode, and then it became clear. Like, wait a minute, why don't we just have? They're friends.
Bring them together.
Why,
Let's do
why
it.
wouldn't we just all do this together as a group? This is perfect.
They can critique each other's episodes.
That's why we brought you.
Oh, we
here.
will.
Oh, yeah,
Finally,
don't worry.
it's
Don't worry.
payback. May it's
Don't
payback for that
worry.
one awkward meeting you had with Josh and Aaron.
That one.
Now you can finally pay it back.
Well,
This
May's
is gonna be
episode's
great.
funnier, which May is funnier, and mine's more actiony.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know if I'm
Which
more
is
actiony,
kind of
but
how we divide things when
Yeah.
we've worked on other shows too.
that's true.
Yeah.
Wait, is that true?
Yeah, it
Absolutely.
is how.
Oh my gosh. Okay,
Yeah.
this is good info.
We've had episodes on other shows where like there was something that was really actiony, and May is kind of like, I don't know, and I'm like, hey May, can I have that episode? And you're like, yes, please.
Yes. Can I take the one where they're doing more talking? Yeah,
Give me that banter. That would be
Awesome.
me. For sure.
that does make sense.
Yeah, it does,
Wow,
yeah.
good to know. Okay. So before we get into the recap, and we didn't get a chance to ask you this last time, Josh. We asked you our core questions.
Right.
But we want to open it up,
Go a little
expand the
deeper.
Avatar verse a little bit,
expand.
and see if you have like a favorite place. If you could, if you could visit a place, or
Place.
even if
And
you're not
and
picturing
then the
yourself
Avatar
there.
verse. Yes.
Yeah,
What's your favorite place in the Avatar verse?
and that's both of you. So you both think of.
Oh.
Yeah, you got to think of one too.
You think of a real actiony
were they
place. You
at
think of
when-
a funny place.
Well,
Just
Go ahead.
I think it's Ember Island.
That's
Of
what I
course.
was- yeah,
It
that's
is
what I was
Ember
gonna
Island.
say. Vacation spot.
Yeah, it's the Cape Cod of
Yeah.
Fire Nation, right?
You're
Yeah,
from
that's an easy-
Hawaii.
that's what I was
so
gonna
yeah.
say.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
kind of
easy
an
one.
easy one.
Yeah. Okay. So what other
Yeah.
place?
Ember Island's
great,
great.
though. You
Ember
can
Island's
say
great.
that.
That's
Yeah.
that's my spot too. Let's go to Ember Island.
absolutely.
Maybe check out like one of the air temples, kind of snowy, way up in the mountains.
yeah.
I've been like into
Beautiful.
mountains recently. That's
Yeah.
kind of a
Okay.
recent
Yep.
thing for me. So,
A little solitude.
Yeah.
place.
Yeah,
Look,
exactly.
We
Yeah.
want some quiet.
Yeah.
Cold.
Airbending, snowboarding.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
heck yeah. Okay, all right.
That's
We got
good.
some love for the Fire Nation. We got some
Yeah.
love for some air temple, mountainous action.
Okay, so do you have a favorite character from the show? Anyone extra fun to write for?
For me, I'm just gonna jump in because I definitely do. It's Toph.
Toph
She's
is-
sarcastic.
Yeah, Toph's pretty good.
She's kind of a
She's
jerk,
great.
but in a fun, charming way.
Yep.
I
Yeah.
love writing for her.
Yeah.
Sokka would be the other one. He kind of oozes from me.
Sokka's
Kinda
kind of a
talk.
you.
Yeah, talks as
See,
he
that's
thinks.
funny. That's
Yeah.
comedy.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. It's in
Toph
there
and
somewhere.
Sokka. Okay.
Yeah.
Is that true for both
What
of you?
about you?
No,
May?
Azula.
Oh, there it is.
She's so mean.
Oh, it's
I hate
fun.
Azula. I love
fun.
Azula.
It's fun.
I hate Azula, especially this episode when she shows. Oh my god,
yeah.
when she shows up, like
She's extra mean to you.
she's
Always.
too much.
Always.
That's true.
Never
too
has the
much.
cute. It's the cutest nickname that you hate the most because like Zuzu seems like
This
Zuzu.
is the thing though,
Yeah.
because
But when
she's
she says it, you're like, oh, you
The-
mean
my
that as an
younger sister.
insult.
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
never your younger
No,
sister.
she treats you like
I'm
I'm
you're
always
her
like
baby.
Zuko. Come on, dude, that's your younger sister. You need to
You can
like
handle
buck
it.
up. You can handle it. It's your
Yeah.
younger sister.
Younger.
Zuko.
She's terrifying. It's not your
She's
fault.
terrifying.
It's not your
even
fault.
better.
Okay, these are good. That makes sense. Those both make a lot of sense
It
to
does
me.
actually.
Yeah.
I think those would be my answers too, because it is so fun writing mean characters. Why is it so fun?
I think it's just because they get to say all the things that you're only thinking.
Yeah. And then if you,
Or is that
if
just
you-
me?
And if you did say
Yeah.
it, you would be
I've
like,
heard you
"Oh
say
no,
that.
I don't. I already don't mean that."
Yeah.
But with Azula, it's like, "Oh, she
Azula.
means
Yeah,
it."
no,
Yeah.
she means it.
She's
She
all
means
time,
it. That's
all
just
time
Look her bright in
classic.
the eye.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All
Okay,
time
so those
classic.
are the mains.
So, are there any lesser known characters from any of the shows that you would want to see more? A character you saw in one or two episodes that you would like to see more of, or could see a spin-off? Remember
a
spin-off
spin-off.
days?
Yeah.
I was thinking of Do and Tho. Do you remember those swamp enders?
Oh,
They
yeah.
sang and they hung out in
Yeah,
the
they're
swamp
great.
and they're
Yes,
just like fishing.
indeed.
I don't know. There's something. I don't know why.
I
They're
love
just like
that.
Yeah,
I
they're
love
kinda
they're
that
fun.
two
episode.
dudes of a place.
They're great.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
They could
Carlos.
have, they could have a
Carlos did
cooking
both of
show.
those,
They
right?
could have a cooking show
Yeah.
down south there. Having
Oh
I
my
don't want to
god.
see what they cook. If memory serves, I don't want to see
it's
what they cook.
alligators. It's alligator swans or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lots of good meat on those.
I do love that swamp. I love that. I mean, obviously, I
Yeah.
love the swamp monster and everything, all the wisdom that comes from that episode. One of my favorites. May, what about you?
Geez, I don't know. Well, I think it was an episode you wrote with the cave.
The Cave of Two Lovers.
Yes.
With a cave.
Kind
With the
of a
cave. They had to
big
go through the
deal.
cave.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
And there's like those troubadours.
There's like a secret
Yeah.
something.
Yeah, the
a secret
hippies.
Yeah, the
something.
Oh,
hippies.
yeah,
the
the
hippies,
hippies.
yeah.
Yeah.
That was a funny episode.
Chong.
Oh,
I thought about
yeah,
that
those
too, but I
guys.
couldn't answer with that one.
Those
'Cause it was
hippies,
yours?
what
Yeah,
are
'cause
those
it was
hippies
mine.
doing?
Those
hippies are fun.
They're just so like airheaded and like everything's
They're
Don't
great.
they
man.
like
It was
braid
the Omashu.
flowers into
Yeah.
Appa's
Yeah.
hair?
Yeah.
And like,
Yeah.
oh, it's so sweet.
The classic.
Yeah,
They're-
those
Secret
are
Tunnel Love.
yeah,
Yeah.
They're great.
Yeah.
those are great
There
characters.
are people that
I
don't
love
have to
both
like
your
really
choices.
remember anything or have like deep knowledge
They're
of
on a
anything.
journey.
It's just on a journey
They're
of
on
just
the
like
journey, man.
I really appreciate. I want to be on that journey.
They've
with
probably
them.
traveled just as much as Aang and the
Yeah.
gang.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
and
yeah.
made just as many important positive changes
Mm-hmm.
everywhere they went. Or at least some braids and some flowers. They left more
Whatever,
flowers.
man.
They left a
braids.
trail of braids and flowers.
100%.
Yeah.
Okay, and so we asked you all of these questions. It'll be interesting to see if you have like a favorite episode will that be a complete departure from the characters and that we've talked about, or are you going to end up having like an Azula centric episode that's a favorite of yours, or
Whether
is that
you wrote
a
them
whole
or
other?
not, favorite episodes.
Yeah.
Oh, I think it's the Ember Island Players.
I mean, it's so great.
Classic.
It's so
It's
great.
just so.
Very
It
good.
just. I mean, it's the show, but it's just so different from the show. And I think it was for us because it was all the sort of room jokes.
Yeah, completely.
Completely. And then we're like, oh, they're going
The
to
air sword.
let us put that in an
there?
episode.
I don't know.
Toph was a big dude.
Yeah.
Aang was played by a little girl.
yeah.
Yeah. That was Rachel, right? Rachel Dratch did the voice of
that's
Aang,
right.
which is so satisfying. It's really satisfying. All right, Ember Island, you got a different one?
Yeah, mine is. I do love that one though.
Yeah.
That is so freaking. I mean, it's just so kind of meta.
It's delicious.
Mine is just like full on Avatar: Last Airbender episode. It's the season finale for season 1.
Oh,
And it's
yeah.
just like Koizilla
Koizilla.
and Zuko's got Aang. So it's like just all the when you think of Avatar, it's like that's it. That's the episode to me.
I love the Northern Water Tribe also. So
Yeah.
I'm always excited to be there.
Lots of
the
action.
Tui and La, like
Lots
meeting,
of action.
understanding the fish, and then
How he's
obviously
connected to different
Yue.
things.
Oh,
Girlfriend turned into a moon.
Yeah, and then we
that's
set up the joke.
rough. Yes.
That scene was just to set up the joke in this
it was like,
episode.
this-
It was all for
we have this joke, but for it to work, you're gonna have to fall in love with the moon.
Totally.
Let
We
me
gotta
pitch you
work it
how
back.
this
Hold
gonna
on,
happen.
hold on.
Such a,
It'll work,
such
it'll
a
work.
heavy,
the best
heavy
reverse
episode.
engineering. The best reverse engineering.
I'll always be with you.
That's rough, buddy. So we definitely need to start talking about Bowling Rock Part 1, but before we do, we also have to ask you these questions that we ask all of our guests.
Yep.
So let's start with a simple one. What is your favorite hybrid animal in the Avatar verse?
Oh, it's the platypus bear.
Jinx.
Is that yours?
Jinx. Yeah, it's mine. Of course.
Yeah.
The
Platypus
John O'Brien
bear.
classic.
It's a John O'Brien classic. Laying that egg.
Although I did watch an episode, it was Return to Amashu, because like once we started watching the Boiling Rock, I just kind of kept going.
That's how it gets you.
And Flopsy
Yeah,
is like
Flopsy's great.
King Boomy's. Yeah, I think it's a gorilla
yeah.
goat. And I was
Yeah.
like, what? It was kind
Yeah.
of like,
I forgot about that.
I forgot about it too. And I'm like, this guy's awesome.
Yeah,
Like, I wanna
Flopsy's
know more.
great.
It's
Yeah.
great.
But yeah, of course, the
The
platypus.
platypus
Yeah,
bear,
platypus.
'cause the thing of laying the egg, we only see birds lay egg. We never seen an animal that big lay an egg.
Nor
would
did,
be crazy.
Nor did we necessarily expect it to get eaten for breakfast. But
Oh,
I guess
yeah,
if they lay
oh,
an
oh,
egg,
yeah.
you might as well
Which is
take
also
advantage
kind
of
of crazy.
it. Feels weird.
It's
yeah.
all strange.
Yeah. When you think about it, eating eggs is kind of weird. Okay. But we do it.
The way we handle them too, like it just came out of a chicken. We're like, it's fine.
Yeah, it's
we're like,
fine.
Cool.
It's cool.
Yeah. Let's talk about shipping. May. A lot of ships in the Avatar verse, some more controversial than others.
Yeah.
Do you have a ship that you especially like?
I don't know. I mean, do they have to be any? Do they have to ship?
Do they have to ship?
Can't they just be their individuals?
No,
I
I'm with
accept
you.
that
Hey,
answer.
it's
I accept that
true.
answer.
It's true.
No, they have to ship.
No, they have to ship.
Ship
Okay.
them right now.
Oh,
Put two together and
jeez.
make up a fun name.
Okay. Sokka and Ty Lee.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Have we
yeah.
seen that?
No.
Have we heard that?
What is that? Sockley?
Sockley?
Tyler?
Yeah, it's-
Taika?
Might be
Taika?
Taika.
Taika?
Or maybe that just sounds right because of Taika Waititi.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like
Sokka
them
and
too.
Ty Lee? You know that ship exists.
No,
and we
ship-
are
that ship-
shamed
that
right
ship
now
has
for
gotta
not knowing
exist.
what it's
Definitely
called.
exists because Tylee always
look it
says
up.
something about Sokka and she has a crush on him.
She thinks
for
he's
sure.
cute.
Oh, yeah,
She
that's
thinks
right.
Yeah.
he's,
Sokka,
he's cute.
Ty Lee ship.
He's
I'm
a
gonna
good
find
looking
out right
dude. This
now.
episode, he's got like no sleeves, like got the boy band look going on. Just out there,
Just a stud.
Ty Laka.
Oh, Tylaka.
Ty
Oh,
Laka.
that sounds like something you'd order at Starbucks.
I kind of want that.
Laka. Yeah.
Tylaka.
I'll take.
Can I get a grande
Grande
Tylaka?
Yeah. And do you remember what you said?
Yeah, of course. I believe I said it would be Zutara.
Forever.
Yeah, you did
I
say
mean,
Forever.
Zutara.
Yeah, just like I
well,
looked
that's a
Dante in the
go-to.
eye when I said that, like
Forever.
kind of
Yeah,
weirdly,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
Zutara.
Yeah,
That just
says
plays
May.
into
OG.
the fans.
Not Tyla. You're standing strong with Tylaka.
What are you doing?
Keeping rocks from crushing you.
Okay, I'm not crushed. You can get off me now.
I'll take that as a thank you.
That just leaves us with May. What kind of bender would you be?
Oh, Earth.
Look at that.
That quick?
Boom.
Earth?
Yeah.
Zero
She's stubborn.
consideration.
Yeah, I'm stubborn.
She's stubborn.
Earth?
She likes to
Without a
write
doubt.
I
for
love an Earthbender.
Azula.
Love
Shout out
an
Earth Kingdom.
Earthbender.
Shout out Earth Kingdom.
Yeah.
Good people out there.
Yeah,
Earth Kingdom.
yeah.
Josh, how
They're
you feeling?
solid.
You
They're
still feeling
solid.
pretty sure about your
About mine?
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah.
water baby?
Yeah, water.
Yeah,
You got that right.
water baby.
Yeah.
You're floating out here by
Yeah,
yourself today,
that
my
makes
I
friend.
mean, you know.
I
You know
thought
how
if
to
I
roll.
did change, though, it would be fire.
Yes, thank you,
Yeah,
Josh.
I did. I was thinking about, like, there's, aggressiveness or something like,
Yeah.
you want to get a job done, then
Yeah.
you want to be fire. You
Yeah.
want to get that job
I
done
mean,
right.
you're from Hawaii, so I get the water.
The water.
But there's also
But there's
But there's
volcanoes.
That's what I was
volcanoes.
gonna say. You're right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
A lot of fires in the Ring of
It's
Fire.
true.
We're in there.
Man. Yeah. I don't know.
But the water tribe. Shout out to water tribe. I mean, this is a big water tribe
I
situation
might-
going on.
Yeah.
If I come back
Yeah.
on again, I don't know what I'm gonna say.
And look
Okay,
at,
all
and you guys.
It
wrote
depends on the day.
You're
Boiling
allowed to
Rock
change.
is
You're
kind
allowed
of
to
like
change.
fire
Yeah,
and
for
water
sure.
Yeah, it's
together.
true.
It is. It absolutely is
rock?
exactly that.
It is exactly what that
It's
is.
exactly that.
Yeah.
Let's remember where we were in our story before we get into this boiling rock business. We just want to quickly touch base with the fact that we were looking at the Firebending Masters
Yes.
last Avatar episode. Aang and Zuko have an adventure together, so that's their kind of adventure. They discover a legendary community still in existence,
Hey.
and they do a little something we like to call the Dragon Dance, and we call it that because that's what it's called.
Exactly.
So I don't know why I was acting like we coined a term. It's literally called the Dragon
And
Dance.
of course, after they understand.
They understand.
understand.
Great moment in the show. Favorite moment among fans. Seeing that the rainbow of colors swirling around Aang and Zuko
Magical.
as they've met those original Firebending Masters. It's a great episode. Let's get into this one.
Let's kick it up a notch, though.
What? You want to kick it? You want to put that simmer to a boil?
Exactly. Let's get a little hot in here. Let's start it off, Josh.
Yeah, let's do it.
What can we look forward to?
Well,
even
I'm
though
gonna
we teased
tell
a
you
lot of it.
guys what you could look forward to.
Wonderful.
Well, when Zuko tells Sokka that he may know where Chief Hakoda and the other members of their Day of Black Sun invasion, all the people that were imprisoned, are, Sokka is determined to head out there and try to find his dad. So what happens? Well, I'll tell you. Zuko joins him, leaving the rest of Team Avatar at the Western Air Temple. And the two disguise themselves, reunite with a certain warrior, plan an escape,
Yep.
and more. Who's
Hey.
hosted by?
More.
Well, Mei Chan.
Me.
What's up?
And it's directed by a little someone named.
Who's I don't know.
It's Joaquin.
It's
Phoenix.
Joaquin.
Santos.
Shout out to Joaquin.
Yeah.
We love Joaquin.
Can I say it was Zuko reluctantly tells Sokka. He didn't really want to.
That's true.
He wasn't 100%
That's true.
sure. It wasn't like, I know your dad's going to be. He's like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
This could be.
Yeah.
Where
Yeah.
it is.
There's
Yeah.
a slight chance.
Slight chance.
Very
Yeah.
small.
That's what's so good about it. Like
Oh, yeah.
if it was definitely there, then you're definitely gonna go. But it's like the idea that
Are
he
you going to
might-
go? If your dad was in prison, are you going to go break him out?
Yeah. If you
Sure,
were,
why not?
he potentially
I know,
put him in
He
prison.
feels responsible. He feels responsible.
There's ways to get people out. There's all these bureaucracy in the Fire Nation.
I don't have any faith in that bureaucracy.
You can
Not in
you
the
can
Fire
do
Nation.
letters, and you can you can grants and
A
stuff
peaceful
like that.
protest.
Peaceful protest.
A letter writing
I'm
campaign?
Sure
Letter writing
Ozai.
campaign.
I'm sure Ozai is going to respond very
folks.
positively
Send
to
out
a
those
letter
hawks.
writing.
Yeah.
There's some good folks in the Fire Nation. Your voice could be heard.
Turn the tides.
Yeah.
It might take some years.
Yeah.
Those folks are keeping quiet. They got to do this. This is their one chance. All right, so we start out the episode. We're still in the Western Air Temple with that gang that we just talked about. They're gathered around a fire. Zuko's serving tea, which is very sweet.
Mrs. and Uncle Iroh.
Oh my gosh. And you know what? You only have to get a few seconds into this episode. You realize Zuko is fully cheerful, fully smiling. So for anyone who took my challenge a few episodes ago where I said, I want you to tell me how many human minutes Zuko has ever been happy in the entire series, get ready to ratchet it up a little bit. You're going to add a few seconds on right here.
Adding those human
It
minutes.
may not
Human
be
minutes.
much.
There we go.
It may not be much, but he is cheerful. He is cheerful and happy.
Yeah.
That's a big deal.
Which
That's
makes
a
him kind
special.
of awkward, right?
Yeah.
Although he does
He's not
say-
very used
He's
to
kind of
it.
awkward
awkward.
either way,
Yeah.
but yeah.
And he does say the legendary line in this episode.
Oh, he does.
I'm
he
never
does.
happy.
He's even trying to
Yeah.
tell a joke. He wants to tell a joke.
Yeah.
He can. And by the way, we can tease Zuko about this, but haven't we all been in the position where
Yes.
we're like, I heard the funniest joke the other day. Oh, how did it? Okay, but the end is like we've all been there.
Although
Yeah.
Really.
May-
Yes.
Yeah.
A lot of fans ask me, what was the joke?
I don't know.
Can you? Can you help us out with the joke? They're like, what was the joke? I'm like, I don't know what the joke was.
I can't remember, but I think there was a joke. I can't remember.
Oh, now you're. That
Let me
makes
look
it
it
even
up.
worse.
Look it
Yeah,
up.
I know.
Look it up.
Please
I'll get back
text
to
it
you.
to me because
Look it
a
up.
lot of fans ask me like, what was the joke? And I'm like, I didn't
I
write
need
the
to
episode.
know.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
don't
I
know.
need to
idea.
know.
No
Yeah.
idea.
Yeah.
Would you like to hear Uncle's favorite tea joke?
Sure, I like jokes. Bring it.
Okay, well, I can't remember how it starts, but the punchline is, leave me alone. I'm bushed. Well, it's funnier when Uncle tells it.
But we really have, we kind of have Sokka to blame for Zuko's change of mood, right? We actually might have had a whole episode of Zuko just being really peppy and cheerful and trying to tell jokes. But Sokka seriouses it up. That's not an expression. By saying, like,
It
do
is
you have
now.
any sense? Listen, we've got these,
He
we've got
gives
our
him-
comrades
he gives
in
him the
arms
bell.
in
He gives him the,
prison.
can I talk to you over here for a
I
moment?
need to talk
So
to you.
he
for a
Whenever
comes
one of
to
the homies
Zuko.
say, can I
just
talk to
need
you
you for
alone
a
for a
second.
second? You
That's
know.
not good.
Yeah.
You
It's
know
not gonna
something's
be
gonna
good.
happen.
But you want to
It's
hear
not
it.
going to be good.
Yeah.
You gotta hear it.
Yeah. So he's like, do you have any insight? I mean, listen, you're a Fire Nation guy. You're a guy who likes to put people in prison. Where would
Well,
you
hey,
put her?
hey,
That's true. You went to the right guy.
You like to lock people up. Where might Hakoda be? What should we do? And as you said, he's reluctant, but he's like,
I
they
don't know everything.
could have gone
You
to a little place called Boiling Rock. No big deal. Just a hot prison in the middle of a boiling lake in the
Which
middle of a
sounds horrible.
volcano.
Yeah.
Hottest prison.
When you
Let's go.
Sound
How'd you
great.
come up with that one? That sounds like the worst place to be. Like, let's do
yeah.
Alcatraz, but with boiling water.
Yeah.
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 What?
I think that's exactly how we came up
Yeah.
with that.
That's
it was
great.
something like
Yeah.
that.
It's
What's
great.
the worst, horrible place where you cannot escape?
Yeah, that's exactly right.
But also like a little bit like a hot springs resort.
it
but
could
it's a
also be
prison.
Yeah.
nice. If
It's
you
a
turn the
prison.
temperature down just a little
I
bit,
know.
Yeah.
it's like paradise.
It could get
It's
repurposed.
perfect.
But
It
every
could
time
get
they touch the
repurposed.
water, it looks scorching.
Yeah.
Even
doesn't
firebenders
seem great.
are like, this is too hot.
It doesn't seem
Yeah.
great. It
Yeah.
doesn't seem great. So Zuko tells him, and then, but is like, I hope this doesn't actually amount to us having to do anything about this. And that is absolutely, he is wrong. Sokka is going to do something about it. Sokka's going to sneak away. He's going to ride Appa off into the distance with no one knowing. But
Quite impressive.
boom, Zuko's out in front of it. He's already on Appa. That's how much he anticipated that Sokka was going to do this.
He gets
He's
it.
like, hey, I've been waiting for you sitting here up on Appa. Did you think you were going to sneak out without me,
I
buddy?
know you.
Yeah.
I know you.
Yeah?
Because I've been
Yeah,
there.
because
I've
I would,
been there.
I would do the
'Cause I've
same
been
thing.
there.
Yeah.
I've
It's
been
so
there. I've been
And I
chasing
sleep-
you guys for
I sleep
as long
on
as I
top
can
of
remember.
Appa.
Yeah. And as you
Yeah,
said,
you're
This is
taking
my
my bed.
excuse me. Yeah. So, and as you mentioned, he feels responsible. So he feels like he doesn't even have a choice, really. He's like, this was my invasion plan. It did not go well. Now these guys are imprisoned. We got to go find them. And I guess, he sort of says the magic words.
It's my mistake, and it's my job to fix it. I have to regain my honor. You can't stop me, Zuko.
You need to regain your honor? Believe me, I get it. I'm going with you.
I mean, you want to bring up restoring anybody's honor.
He did.
Magic words for Zuko.
If
He's
you
like,
saw-
I'm in.
Yeah.
Say no more.
Yeah.
You had me at honor.
He
Exactly.
reversed it on him, gave him the honor. He's like, damn, he said honor?
Yeah.
Gotta go.
Gotta go.
Yeah.
Gotta go.
Gotta go.
Yeah.
That's how you do it. I
That's how you
guess.
do it.
Okay.
With the rest of the gang placated with a gone fishing note, Sokka and Zuko balloon their way towards the boiling rock, complete with awkward silence followed by awkward conversations.
So good.
But then the guys really start to bond, which means it's almost time for the one and all-time best exchanges in the entirety of the Avatar verse, written by yours
Dun.
truly, right in the room. I mean, we've been referencing it so far in so many episodes.
Almost every episode of the
every-
podcast, I feel
yeah,
like
we almost
reference it.
actually our whole fan base almost got named it, right?
Someone thought that our fan base should be called the Rough Buddies.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
It's literally. I mean,
Oh.
I have to say, out of all the quotes that I sign at Comic Cons and just autographs around the world, it's probably the number one thing I sign.
It's a beauty.
That is
It's so
amazing.
crazy.
Came from your head.
It
your
is.
And
brain.
I just want to say,
Yeah,
it
it's
is
crazy.
so May. Like that is like such a May line.
And,
Yeah.
of course,
I love
I've said it.
It's rough,
through
buddy.
like the whole times of COVID, we were living in a that's rough buddy
That's
kind
rough
of
buddy.
time. So it was like that was the
That was the
number one
era.
thing. I just come and talk to me and say, "Can you write?" I'm like, "Yeah, I got it.
Yeah.
I got you, 100%."
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's so crazy. It's just, something you typity type on paper and then 20 some years later. people are-
In the blink of an eye.
So of course, should we play it?
Yeah, let's
Yeah.
play.
Let's play it. Let's hear it.
My first girlfriend turned into the moon.
That's rough, buddy.
May, you are responsible for these lines. So you just didn't think of anything when you wrote it. You just kind of threw it out there.
It is so funny, May. I mean, it is genuinely a laugh out loud moment.
This is the first time we see these two characters alone, and they're like trapped in this space together, and they have to make. I do remember when we were in the room, we talked about like, okay, and then this is the first time they're together, and what would they say? I was like, well, it'd be an awkward conversation, and then I think the bonding over, they're a little hostile at first because that's just who they are, and then the bonding over lady problems.
Sure, the exes.
The idea that maybe Zuko might have some long answer to some problem that he had is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is,
what else could you say?
What else would you say?
First, Zuko comes out because it's freshly on his mind, right? My ex, I just left her with this note, like it's horrible. I feel bad about the situation, but I'm just gonna let you know. And then he's like, well, I mean,
I had an issue too.
My situation's not great either.
Yeah,
she was turning to the moon. It was hilarious. It's hilarious.
I like that he tries to connect with him over that. Oh, I know exactly what you're feeling because my girlfriend's the moon.
Yeah, it's great, and it gives you the sense of it's one of the first Zuko's part of Team Avatar lines because you haven't heard him kind of toss something off casually like that. Like when have we heard him call anyone buddy? You know what I mean? Yeah. And so even Uncle Iroh, he doesn't, they're very close, but it's not like he's constantly exasperated by Uncle, So to have this moment where you hear something come out of his mouth that almost could have come out of Sokka's or Toph's or someone like that, you're like, oh, he's in the game.
Yeah.
It's real, it's happening. It's so good. It's so good.
Yeah.
Now, they get to that awkward moment, which is very bonding, and then Sokka catches some Z's. He's snoring.
Yeah,
just snoring. I mean, hey,
he got the UA thing off his chest and was like, "Good night."
I know. And you think about it, one of his girlfriends turning the moon, his other girlfriend's in jail. It's like, Sokka, what's going on?
I know.
You're lovely. That's rough, buddy, for sure.
Is
Sokka,
rough, buddy.
Yeah.
But they get closer to Boiling Rock. They're navigating through some steam, a lot of steam going on, and then I don't know. Some sciencey stuff happened, chemistry. I don't know
There's a lot of sciencey stuff.
What's going on?
I don't know if you remember how much science was in this.
Yes.
Yeah.
What happened? All of a sudden they're going down. I'm just like, is that how it works?
I guess.
The air, the temperature of the air.
Sokka knew exactly what was going on.
That's right. It was if it's
knows.
the same temperature.
Yeah.
As the hot air balloon, then it doesn't. Then it goes down.
And you don't float.
Yeah.
That's what we decided as a
group. It's schmiancy.
No, but they still navigated a little crash landing. They got to where they wanted to be.
Yeah.
And then, but they're not. The whole balloon's done.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And Zuko's like, we're in trouble, you guys. And Sokka's like, this is exactly how I thought it was gonna go. What? And then they throw the stuff they throw the balloon into the water just so no one can catch it. And Zuko, he's like, there's no turning back now.
Yeah. No backup plan.
I mean, they're in over their heads.
Yeah.
I agree.
Way in over their head. Like, who's breaking into Alcatraz?
Yeah. Also, for Zuko to say, what? You knew this is going to be a one-way ticket? Like, you're crazier than I am.
Yes.
This is something I would totally do.
Yeah.
The old me.
Right.
Yeah.
This is what happens when you go to the next place. You always see the old you out there, and you got to be there as assistance or as support to the old you to get to the next place. That's karmic retribution.
I love it.
I hope you know what you're doing. There's no turning back now.
So they're basically stuck in that prison.
Yeah.
And I think the first thing they're going to do is get some prison guard uniforms, to disguise themselves. And it works. And it's not long before they're summoned to this courtyard with the rest of the guards, where they witness this face-off happening between one of the prisoners, Chit Sing, who is named after my dad.
No way!
Yes,
Right.
I named him after my dad.
Awesome.
Wait, is it awesome? Was your dad like,
is your
wait,
dad
why
a
did you wait?
gangster?
Why
He's
did
not
you
a
wait
gangster.
for a
He's an
prisoner
old Chinese
character? That's awesome. Listen, he's very
old Chinese man with glasses.
Very tough, very
gangster.
strong. Yeah.
But that character reminds me of a lot of friends of mine. The big guy around the neighborhood that,
Yeah.
it reminds me of a lot of people I know. As soon as I saw him, I was like, I know that guy.
I like Chit. I mean, we don't know why Chit Sing is in the prison, but we do know that, cover your ears, a lot of bad stuff happens in the Fire Nation. He might have been the greatest guy in the world doing good stuff. Suki's also in prison. We know.
Right. We don't know. We don't know.
He might have been up to something shady, but he might have just gotten, been a bee in Ozai's bonnet. He might be a great dude.
We don't know.
Yeah.
He
Maybe everyone in the Fire Nation prison are actually good people.
Obviously, he's all right. He's not that bad.
Those are the best people in the world. In the Fire Nation,
That's
for
the
sure.
spinoff.
Does he bring his lady with him when they're trying to escape?
Yeah, so that's supposed to be my mom.
We got to get to...
Oh, he did bring his lady and his best friend.
We got to get to that.
I'm so sorry. I love that it just thrown it like, I got to bring my best lady. And when I saw that last night, I was like, I completely forgot that happened.
Also, when
why is his lady and his best friend coming with him?
Also,
and they're like, yeah, okay.
It was something I wrote in, and then it stayed.
It just stayed.
In hindsight, I'm like, there's no way they're all going to fit in that cooler.
Well, and then when it doesn't work, foreshadow report of this episode, which we'll get to, he just doesn't seem to be taking them along for the second
later
attempt.
On, he's like, my lady
like, we tried that once. We tried that once. Now they're
my
on their
lady
own.
and my best pal, my best guy.
I'm on my own.
That's the spinoff. That's the spinoff. I agree.
What are those guys doing?
Are they together?
That's great.
They're together.
They're
and
together
they
now.
betrayed.
I see.
I don't know.
Yeah.
So anyway,
it's great.
It's Chit Sing, and then they break up the fight. Sokka and Zuko are separated. Sokka ends up with the guard who was a bully to Chit Sing, and meanwhile Zuko's gonna go suss up, go find out what's going on. He's in the lounge with the other guards. He keeps his helmet on the whole time, which is super bizarre, apparently.
Unless you're a Mandalorian. Shout out to the Mandalorian.
Yes.
And it's the rules. They say it's the rules, so always keep your helmet on anyway.
And then they just laugh it off.
They were breaking the rules.
Oh, they're breaking the rules.
They're breaking the rules,
Yeah.
but Zuko is a rule follower.
Yeah.
Because he's new.
Yeah, also he's in disguise. And he does get some intel from the two, and it's not about dating the female guards, right? Is that where the joke is? So meanwhile, Sokka's stuck at the cooler, which we learn is the super cold cell where firebending's impossible.
Makes sense.
Because science. And when the warden comes over, so we meet the warden.
Scary guy warden.
Yeah. And he's just one of the very many sort of scary guys with impressively deep voices.
Yeah, there's a lot
right now.
A lot of deep voices.
He
reminded me
of
very deep
voices in
voices.
this episode.
He reminded me of in Conan the Barbarian.
James
Earl
Jones.
Jones
Yeah.
and Conan. That's what reminded me of the hair and the voice. I was like, he reminded me of
Yeah.
Conan the Barbarian. That's crazy.
So the warden and Chit Sing, they're like fighting,
Chit
kind
Sing.
of deep voice.
Bully guard.
And the bully guard also has like this very deep voice.
Wade Williams played the warden. Ezekiel Rollins played Chit Sing.
Yep.
Yes.
Roger Rose played the bully guard.
Shout out to our deep voice.
Yes,
all the deep voice guys.
Deep
Super
voice guest
buttery.
cast.
And so then Sokka and Zuko are able to meet back up in an exchange where I believe Zuko's trying to still stay in disguise, and Sokka says, "Zuko?" Zuko has discovered there aren't any Water Tribe prisoners here. That was what he got, the intel that he got.
That was the whole point.
Yeah, and Sokka's just devastated.
Yeah.
Because his whole plan has failed
Again.
And Zuko tries to, cheer him up with some just good old Iroh wisdom.
What would Uncle say? Sometimes clouds have two sides, a dark and light, and a silver lining in between. It's like a silver sandwich. So, when life seems hard, take a bite out of the silver sandwich.
He nails it.
Nails it.
Nails it.
Awesome.
So easy.
It's
to
great.
say.
Again, another line
Yeah.
that I write a lot.
That's a long line.
I mean, it's a long line. I just do the silver sandwich part because people are like,
Yeah.
"Can you write the whole thing?" I'm like, "No,
yeah.
no, I can't."
That's what
write
I was
the
That's
whole
a
thing."
long
wondering.
line.
But the silver sandwich part, it rings true, and it's, even though we don't know what it means,
Nope.
it means a lot to
Yeah.
people. I always tell them,
It's deep.
on a tough day,
Yeah.
take a bite of the silver sandwich.
Yeah.
That's a great line.
What does that mean,
Iconic.
Meg? What
I
does
don't
that
know.
mean?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
He doesn't know.
I never knew. Even the silver lining. When people say there's a silver lining, like every cloud has a silver lining.
Yeah.
What the heck does that mean?
Yeah.
I mean,
I'd look
have
for
I ever
that.
seen a silver line? An
No,
actual real
I've
life
never
silver
seen it.
lining?
But we've
I don't
all
know if I
said it.
have.
It's like that line. What does that mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It means
Every cloud has what silver lining? I've never seen a silver lining in my life.
I guess in the old days there were more silver linings floating around in the sky.
With smog now kind of covers
It's just
it.
kind of
That
like
might be
a
it,
white
yeah.
line.
What is a silver lining playbook? We don't know.
No,
No,
it's a mystery. One of
But
life's
it's okay.
huge mysteries.
anyway, it doesn't work at all. Doesn't cheer him up.
Kinda does.
Well, you
Well,
think
you
it
think
might.
it does.
It does.
Yeah, but
It's the
not
energy.
really.
It's the energy. It's the good energy.
Yeah,
I
it distracts
see.
him.
It distracts him,
Yeah.
and then
Which
he
is-
gets the thing, and he's
Yeah.
there. Then he got it. Then he knows,
Yep.
he knows something. Oh, there's someone else I could. do
Yes, there's someone else there
Yeah.
that's not his dad,
Who?
and
Who?
not the moon.
something. Who could it be?
Okay.
Yeah.
Suki.
Yes, Suki.
Don't tell Suki we were just talking about the moon.
Oh, yeah, that would have been a funny.
Shut up about the moon.
Okay, so you
Yeah.
remember I
Yeah.
mentioned the moon?
Let's not talk
Ixnay
about
on the
Ixnay
moon.
on the moon.
That's
day.
it's like in the background.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's exciting. It's exciting. We saw like
This
we're
was cool
like,
though. This
Yeah.
was so cool to see Suki there, right?
Suki and Sokka shippers, report to your posts.
Yes.
because
Yeah.
it's happening. Now, this next part is a little. I don't want to say it's problematic because it's definitely sort of a mirror image of something that happens earlier in the show. But it's one of those cases of Sokka thinking that something's a really good idea when it categorically is not. But he shows up still in disguise as the guard and tries to kiss Suki before she realizes that maybe she would want to be kissed by this
Right.
person. So it's not great. His
going in hot.
attempt
He's
miserably.
going in hot.
He comes in way too hot. Miserably fails because it is Suki. She can take care of herself and knocks his helmet off. So she quickly understands. But also might remember that Suki did do something similar to Sokka in the Serpent's Pass. So that's what we mean when we say there's a little mirror image. Like, remember this? Wink, wink. So they embrace. Suki has tears in her eyes. It's a beautiful moment.
beautiful.
And Sokka's like, okay, cool. I got you. Where are the rest of the Kyoshi warriors? Let's do this. And that's when we find out, no, they just wanted that leader. And I guess they felt like that was enough to set an example. I don't know. They felt that she was too dangerous. Like, yeah, chop off the snake's head.
She is dangerous.
We'll see.
It makes
But-
sense. They were separating everybody out. They
Yeah.
They
came
bring the
together.
leaders
Yeah.
over, the really, really dangerous, like, you're the problem that got, and everyone else is just following you, whatever.
It's
all
not
the
weird,
Kyoshi
it's
warriors
fine.
are amazing.
Yeah, it's fine.
It's fine. Once they
From a
captured
writing
her,
perspective, it makes all the
once
sense
they
in the
captured
world.
her,
Don't
the
get me
rest
wrong.
of them ran off. And
Let
then-
me explain.
It's why they would send Hakoda
What had
there.
happened was...
It's why Hakoda might be there.
There was a line, actually, we cut it out, but it explains everything.
You did explain it. It's the leader of it's the leader because they do the same thing with Hakoda.
Yeah,
So
with
it all
Hakoda,
makes sense.
yeah.
It makes sense. And listen, this is limited space. You know what I mean? Boiling Rock is not a prison you can build onto.
Exactly.
It is what it is. It's the size that it is. You got to get those
Janet gets
dangerous
it.
people in there.
Yeah.
And Zuko standing guard while they steal a quick kiss. But then another guard approaches. There's a tussle. Sokka then arrests Zuko. And it's not long before Zuko is being visited in his new cell by the warden. But it's also May's uncle. That's when we find out Ruh-roh,
Worlds
I
collide.
know.
May's uncle
Yeah.
is the warden.
I didn't really see the resemblance, but
Yeah. And for a second you're like,
Actually, though,
yeah. I mean,
maybe
I'm
on
not
maybe
seeing
on
it.
her
see it
mom's
side by
side.
side.
Maybe
I'm
on
not
her
seeing
mom's
it.
side. I
Yeah.
don't know what's going
Bring it
on.
up.
Yeah. And I don't see it. Okay.
It's, identical.
Yeah. And for a second, you're like, I mean, I don't know if you guys had that. Well, you wrote this, but for a second, there's that moment of like, oh, cool, that's good. Like, it's good to know someone, maybe
Yeah,
May,
like,
maybe the fact that they.
Okay.
And it's like, no, that's not going to help at all. This isn't going to help you at all.
I
Sorry.
like- He knows. He's like knows about the relationships.
Yeah, he's like,
Yeah.
I'm her closest confidant.
Like, how come
so
she
I'm
tells
very
you everything?
aware.
I know.
Yeah.
Like,
It's
her
it is a
family
good one.
gossips.
I got to scroll
May's
from a hawk.
family is a gossiping
Hockey.
family. They be gossiping. May's mom just gossiping the whole time to the whole
Yeah.
family.
Yeah.
Even Uncle
Oh, it's
Warden
I was
knows.
through the mom.
Uncle
Yeah.
It's through the
Warden
mom,
knows?
yeah.
Yeah. Uncle Warden.
Yeah.
How does
Uncle
Uncle
Warden.
Warden know?
Mom.
I hope he asks to be called Uncle
Damn,
Warden.
Uncle Warden? How do you know everything?
Uncle Warden. Amazing. All right. So later on, we see that Zuko and Suki are sharing the mop duties, but Sokka comes up. He has got an escape plan. He's figured it out. They're going to use that cooler cell as a boat. It's going to be able to, it's so cold, and the way it's built, it's going to be able to sustain that boiling
hot-
water.
boiling
They're going
hot
to use it as a
water.
boat. They're going to use that current to take them straight across. It all sounds great. Unfortunately, they do have a surprise guest because Chit Sing has heard all of this and is like, sounds great to me also. We're going to be doing this. I'm your new accomplice, whether you like it or not. And but what I can do is help you pick a fight. I can help get somebody into the cooler so that we then have access to the cooler. So he is going to pick a fight with Zuko. Zuko uses his firebending. Voila, into the cooler he goes. So that is a success.
Yeah. Aren't they fighting over grammar?
Who and whom? Yeah.
That's what prisoners do.
That's very satisfying.
Yeah.
Don't fight over anything.
Your dad is
writery.
very grammatically correct.
Yeah.
Well, English is a second language.
There you go. Get it right.
He's paid attention. I love it.
Hey, you watch who you're shoving.
I think you mean whom I'm shoving.
When Sokka comes to get Zuko, we see that Zuko's pulled out a bunch of nuts and bolts inside the cooler.
Yep.
Oh my gosh, we know what's going to happen here.
Yeah.
But before they can get and go meet Suki and Chit Sing, a couple of guards come by talking about how there are new prisoners coming in tomorrow.
Dun, dun, dun.
Could Sokka's dad be amongst them? Great question.
Yeah.
And will they want to find out? Later, Sokka and Zuko show up to the rendezvous point with the cooler. They're doing it. They're actually doing it. Chit Sing and Suki are there too. But Chit Sing also brought along who? His girlfriend and his best friend. Why, May? Why did this happen?
Why are they? Who are these people?
I love it.
You can never a +1. We all know the rule. If you're a +1, you cannot bring anyone
the
else
+1
because you
brings
are
a
the
+1.
+1.
They did +2.
Yeah.
So for all you people out there that are +1 to anything from your friends, you can't bring nobody.
And
Yeah.
Chit Sing, you're saying Chit Sing is the
Chit
+1.
Sing's the +1.
Yeah,
Oh,
he's
he's
He
the
knows
+1.
Yeah,
Right.
he's the
They
+1.
just
The original
+3.
+2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
are you doing, Chit Sing? What's
So-
your dad doing?
Very
I
late.
love his loyalty. I love his short-lived loyalty
Yeah.
because I don't think it lasts long.
There's a little backstory. It's a little self-indulgent.
Love it.
So it kind of goes back to my parents. They escaped communist China by swimming from China to Hong Kong.
Wow.
It's my mom and dad and my dad's best friend.
Oh my
So when I
God.
wrote the
What?
scene, which I named the character after my dad, I'm like, I'm just going to throw these two characters in here. Here's my lady and my best friend. And then I didn't think it'd actually make it on the show.
Yo, shout out to the homage
Yeah.
to
So
May's dad.
Wonderful.
It made it
Mom
on the
and
show.
best friend.
And
I
That
love
is
that.
weird.
awesome.
No, it's weird, but it's cool
weird.
that
They
it's
don't have any
there.
lines.
No, but
Yeah.
it's cool that they're there and it represents
Yeah.
something like that. That's so cool.
Does your dad know he's an Easter egg?
Yeah, he knows.
Okay.
He doesn't know what an Easter egg is, though.
Does your
I couldn't explain to
dad's
him.
best
He,
friend
well, he
know?
thinks it's something else.
Does your dad's best friend know he's an Easter
No,
egg?
he doesn't.
I
Well, he might
love
now.
that.
He might know now.
I love it.
I love that it's in the show. I think it's so funny.
I think
when you
it-
turn-
we
and then
need to
and
do-
really, it's like in terms of like quick character assessment, you're like, he's a good dude.
He is
Yeah.
a good dude.
Like he
Yeah.
doesn't want to leave without his best
Chit
girl and his
Sing
best guy.
is a good dude.
Although, I mean, come on. They're not all going to fit in the cooler.
No.
There's no way. That thing's
It's
going to
in-
sink.
Yeah.
No.
It's like
That
the Titanic
cooler.
door.
Yeah.
Doesn't-
But it
doesn't
stayed
They
in.
got
right.
the igloo cooler out there.
Yeah.
I love that.
But you know it's working.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's working. It gets hot in there though. They're
It's a little
sweating.
hot,
They're
yeah.
sweating. They didn't really think
Yeah.
it all the way through.
Yeah.
That boiling water is hotter than we thought.
Well, they did. So Chit Sang brought his best friend and his lady.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
yep.
he did.
Just like your dad. That is really cool, actually.
Yeah.
So it looks like Sokka's about to head out with everyone, but Zuko gives him one last opportunity to stay.
Are you sure you want to go? You're the one who said you wanted to redeem yourself, redeem your honor. Rescuing your dad is your chance. Even though you'll probably fail over and over and over again,
Seriously, not helping.
you have to try every time. You can't quit because you're afraid you might fail.
Also, again, May.
What?
This is a line I also write a lot. These is a lot of lines. This is like episode
That's a
is
lot
heavy
of
Oh, yeah.
famous
on
lines.
the famous lines that people are like, can you write this line?
Yeah.
Do you find yourself looking for the right thing to say when friends confide in you? Are you often kicking yourself later thinking, why'd I say that? Then you need Zuko's incredibly specific greeting cards for unique occasions. When you sign up for your monthly subscription, every 30-ish days, you'll receive a new greeting card, each one designed for a very specific circumstance. Will you end up using most of the cards in your subscription? Absolutely assuredly not. But isn't it worth the peace of mind that one time you need us? So join our tens of satisfied customers and sign up for your subscription of Zuko's incredibly specific greeting cards for unique occasions today. It's actually he really channels his inner Iroh At this one,
He does.
At the beginning,
He gets it
wasn't
right
good.
on this one.
Yeah, he wasn't that great on the first one, and on this one, he's like, you got to every time. Don't be scared you're gonna fail. He's on it.
Yeah.
He's got it. He's growing up. He's growing wiser.
And whatever he says, actually, it works.
Yeah, it does work.
So Sokka says he's staying behind. Yeah. And so are Suki and Zuko. Oh my God, they're all staying behind. This is crazy.
Ride or die homies.
Chit Sing and his friends head out. They're like, see you later. We're going into the boiling water, where he makes the mistake of actually trying to row with his own hand, right? Is that how he does it?
Yeah.
Well, no, he uses
the thing.
Okay, right.
He
does it clunk?
He
what happens?
breaks
How's
off
the
a
jig
piece
up because
of the
this?
thing, of the cooler,
and it hits the water.
And then when it hits the water, it splashes on his hand, and it's like, if you ever had any hot,
even
though
he's a firebender,
But even putting the metal in there,
that
the
wasn't
metal
a good
conducts the
idea.
heat. That could have burned him too. So
yeah,
it's hot. All we know is it's super hot.
They had
hot.
worked
It's
out
hot.
a lot
It's
of
hot.
things, but not that.
Yeah.
So anyway, the water splashes on him, and he yells, and the whole place goes into like super lockdown. They realize, oh my God, they're going to be busted.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, the gondola is bringing in the brand new prisoners that Zuko was talking about, but it doesn't seem like Hakoda's there. They risked everything for absolutely nothing, except, wait, he is there! Oh my God! He steps out last. It's amazing. We go out on Sokka simply saying,
Oh,
heavy episode.
You made us wait for it, like that, like scenes in those movies where it's like, I think everyone has gotten off the plane. Look, they're going in to clean the plane up, and then it's like,
You guys didn't want to just give it to us at the beginning. You guys are like,
he
let's.
couldn't be first.
You guys just couldn't be like, he is here. And you're like, no, maybe not. Maybe.
But let me tell you something. Hakoda is not going to make it easy for anyone.
It's true.
He's not going to. If you were going to try to put him in that stupid prison,
passive
you
aggressive.
better make it. Yeah. He's not going to.
I also love that
come
this
out.
particular prison has a gondola.
Yeah.
Listen,
Is it gondola or is
it's
it gondola?
I think it's gondola.
Is it gondola or gondola?
I like the way
I think it could be both ways.
I mean, this
it could
is
be either
prison,
way.
Very
and it's a
Dante.
nice. It's a
Everybody-
very nice.
Yeah. There's more than one. There's one that goes this way and one that goes this way.
It's
So one's
double.
a gondola
Yeah.
and one's a
It's a
gondola.
gondola.
Yeah.
It's fine.
It used to be a resort.
Was
That's
there
why.
any?
This is what we're
Was there
saying.
any conversation about the gondola? Like, was there like, should we have a
well, yes.
gondola or should be a gondola? Like, is there any other concept about how you can get in and out of this prison?
I think
Skyway.
we had talked about like how would regular people get in and out of this
Yeah,
prison.
right.
And
Yeah,
we're
we
like, well, what if it
absolutely
has
did.
this?
I love
A
it.
gondola.
That's great.
I
Yeah.
just
Makes sense
remember
to me.
when
Isn't
we
a
were.
gondola a thing you do on
No,
the
but
water? They do
that's
both.
what they call it when it's in the air too.
Yeah, that's
I
like
don't
a
know.
ski,
Two
like a ski
words.
resort. that
Yeah,
you have.
exactly.
Same word. Mind hurts. Gondola. Gondola. Yeah. I really liked it when we were talking about the gondola or the gondola. Now I don't know which one is right. But I really liked it because it was like, oh my God, we're teeing up what will be an awesome fight.
Oh,
Yeah.
You know,
Heck
like
yeah.
you knew exactly where it was going to happen,
Heck
how
yeah.
it was going to go down.
Yeah.
Action movie
exciting.
supreme.
Yeah.
Also, I don't know if you remember this, but when we were breaking the episodes for the second half, we just had a card. We put up cards for the sequences, and we just had a card that said gondola fight.
Yeah,
We're like,
that
we
makes
don't know where it goes. We just kept moving that
very
fight around.
gondola
It's
fight.
very James Bond. It's very
Oh,
James
it is
Bond.
very James Bond.
Yeah.
it's a
At the
classic.
end is where it goes.
Yeah,
Like,
I know,
oh.
but
Yeah.
Sometimes
Just
you don't
keeps
know.
moving
Sometimes you don't
down.
know.
Yeah.
It's true.
All right, let's go into Animal Crossing. Any animals in this one? I think there are none at all.
Well,
None at all.
Animals?
there- we don't see one, but when Zuko and Sokka leave the note, we hear one.
Oh, what would
because,
it hear?
They tell Aang, right? They leave him with homework, and he has to do
yeah.
hot squats
Yeah.
or something
Uh-huh.
every time a badger frog. Is it badger frog?
Badger
Badger
frog.
frog
Good.
Croaks.
And then it croaks.
We have an audible.
Yeah.
We have a little
Audible.
So we
audio
heard-
Badger frog.
This is why
Was
we
it-
bring in the big guns,
That's
I think you're right.
everybody.
It was
we
a
bring the
badger
writer
frog.
in.
Yeah, it was a badger frog.
Badger frog.
Again.
Brilliant.
Yeah,
May, have you ever seen a badger in real life? Yes or no?
a badger in real life. No.
Yeah. No, okay, thank you.
What about a frog?
we have a new
What about
ongoing
frog?
argument.
Yeah, I've seen a frog.
No, of course, we all know what frogs are.
Oh, just checking. I don't
No
know if
one-
she's seen a frog.
No one's ever seen a badger. Have you ever seen a badger?
No.
No one knows what a badger is.
Dante thinks maybe they're not real.
They could be fake.
I'm trying.
I've
Do they
gotta
have
get
them
us
at
a
the
badger.
zoo? They must have them.
I
don't
don't think
know.
they bother with
We
them
don't
at
know
the
about
zoo.
no
They're like
badgers.
they look like a skunk, right? They
Yeah,
kind of
pretty
We don't
much.
know.
Yeah.
A little
Josh,
bit
we
like a
don't know.
Wolverine.
You're
a little
right.
bit like
You're
a
right.
skunk.
I'm just guessing.
You do know what they look like.
I've never seen one.
I
They
can't
don't
believe
exist.
you. Don't feed this beast, you guys. Don't feed this beast.
You and I both know we've never seen a badger.
You're right.
I've certainly seen pictures. All right. Let's talk about most valuable bending, most valuable non-bending.
Most valuable bending.
Most valuable bending in the episode. I mean, bending is not encouraged in this scenario.
No.
Right.
So who is the valuable bending that Zuko firebends to get
in the
himself
cooler?
into the cooler?
Or is it the Chit Sing when he's bullied? I think it's that one.
Okay.
Because
the Chit Sing one.
That's what launches into them learning about the cooler and
Yeah.
what that is.
Yeah.
We need that. We need Chit Sing. Listen, I'm very excited to
Yeah.
throw
Your
anything
dad's
towards your
important.
dad.
Also, my
Your
dad's
dad-
important. I'm just
Your dad
saying.
is important.
Chit
Let's
Sing,
go.
most valuable bending. Happy to do it. Love it. Let's do it. Okay, most valuable non-bending.
Josh? Oh, I don't know.
I didn't
Non-bending?
study this one.
So much more.
You could just use your
it's
human
Suki.
brain.
I think
Oh,
it's
right
Suki.
here.
It's Suki
Yeah.
fighting
Kinda
off
comes-
Sokka.
Yeah. Oh, interesting.
Fighting off Sokka.
That, yeah.
Oh no. What about? Well, it could just be Sokka's plan. Although, you know what?
Yeah.
What if it's Zuko's advice to Sokka? Most valuable non-bending.
Yeah.
Zuko's
Yeah.
advice to
100%.
Sokka when they
Yeah.
almost
second
leave
advice, the
before
second
Hakoda
advice.
gets there. Then
Second advice.
it's like it worked. He channeled Iroh.
Yeah.
That's my vote.
I like that. I'm
Yeah,
with that.
okay, that's a
You
good
know,
one.
Okay.
Zuko's powerful with or without bending.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
His
All right.
words. He's
His
bending
words.
his words.
He's
Yeah.
bending his words.
Yeah.
We solved it.
He's channeling the
Bending his
Uncle
words.
Iroh in him.
We solved it.
Yep.
We solved it for now, but we are not done. We still have a whole second part of Boiling Rock we got to tackle. We have left our friends on that island. So I hope you guys are going to be back for our next episode. And I hope you're wearing the exact same thing you're wearing right now.
Don't worry.
And it will seem as if no time has passed. So let's all leave, go home, spend a couple of weeks apart, come back in the exact clothes we have
You
on.
got it.
We'll make sure
You
our
got it.
water is filled to the same level it is now. And we will be with you for Boiling Rock Part 2. May Chan, Josh Hamilton, thanks for being with us.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Yay.
Did you know you can hear bonus episodes of our award-winning podcast?
Subscribe to Avatar Braving the Elements Premium on Apple Podcasts for early access, exclusive content, and ad-free episodes.
I'm so excited!